Russell invitation. I appreciate you joining me this Saturday evening, live here on Millions.co, YouTube, and all other streaming platforms. We are live. Yes, indeedy, feed the needy. So tonight's guest, I looked her up a little bit, and I don't get to see too many like straight grapplers and jiu-jitsu artists, and this is quite a treat because it opens up a lot of questions for me to ask and get to know this young lady. At this time, my guest this evening is Miss Katelyn Hart. What's happening?
Not much. Just, having a good evening.
There you go. So tell me about your upcoming bout that you have, your match.
So this coming weekend on Saturday the 26th, I'll be going up to Alexandria, Virginia with two friends of mine, Maria Rios out of Connection BJJ and Emily Keck out of Fitness Edge MMA down in Myrtle Beach. We're driving up to Alexandria for a trios event with National Grappling Association. Like a quintet, but just the three of us.
Very cool. That's what I'm talking about. So, this is your first time on Millions, right?
It is.
Oh, fantastic. Well, welcome. We aim to please. But so how long have you been training in grappling and jiu-jitsu?
So actually pretty new to it, but kind of caught on pretty quick. I started training in March of 2023, so just a little over 2 years.
Not bad. Are you ranked belt-wise?
Yeah, I've had my blue belt since June of last year. I've been competing in the advanced brackets.
Okay, cool. Cool. That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. And, and you're based out of Virginia?
I am currently in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Fayetteville, North Carolina. Why does that sound familiar? I think I've been there before. Is that where that big Biltmore State is?
I don't know. Fort Bragg.
Do what?
Fort Bragg military base. That's about it.
That's okay. That's what it is. Okay, my stepbrother. That's where he's been there before. Okay, that's why. I just had to think about that because I was in South Carolina about 2 months ago, beginning of May, so almost 3 months ago now, actually. And I cover mixed martial arts and grappling and Muay Thai kickboxing, all that, all over the country. So love the Carolinas. Great place. Very underrated. So what do you do for a living?
I am a critical care nurse in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, very, very cool. I see the scrubs.
Yeah.
I hear you. I mean, I just got off work myself, so I get it. I've never actually said this to my audience, but I don't do this full time for a living, guys. This is what, but I've been in radio for a living, but I don't do Millions for a living. So, I have a job just like everybody else is. So guess I'm the blue collared announcer, but what made you, I mean, I'm not going to guess your age out of being polite, but what made you decide to do this all of a sudden?
Yeah. So I'm 24. I played competitive soccer through college. I played D2 soccer in college. Tore my ACL my junior year and kind of stopped with the soccer. And then coming out of college, I lifted a lot, but I just didn't have anything that let out that competitive side of it.
Right.
I'd always kind of thought about getting into martial arts, but as you know, it's such a broad category for somebody who has no in. And so I never had tried just because it was a little overwhelming to start. But I actually have younger brothers who started doing jiu-jitsu in the August before I started. So once they started, I was like, all right, if they can do this, then I can do it. And I found a gym and started going and training and just kind of fell in love with it.
Absolutely. And there's nothing, and I competed years ago. I'm a little older than you, and actually I'm a lot older than you. But the thing about it is I competed, 18 years ago, I think it is now. It's been 18 years since I competed, but there is this bug towards it where, you want to just get in there and just compete. And sometimes, it's funny you mentioned about your soccer not working out for you. I remember Rich Franklin, when he was hurt, he was fighting in the ring hurt, but he said, I can't play basketball, but I can fight.
Yeah. People hear about the knee injury and they're like, "Oh, well, aren't you scared about that?" I'm like, I've only ever done jiu-jitsu post having my ACL repaired, so it's just part of it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I started taking up, yoga, and the particularly DDP yoga, and it really helped strengthen my body all around, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's imperative that you do try to strengthen those things,
Mm-hmm.
But so, are you married with kids, or?
I am not. I am not married. No kids. Gives me the
Okay,
free time
cool.
to train too.
Say that again.
It does help give me the free time to train too.
I get it. I understand. I mean, I've been interviewing. Like I said, I mean, I tip my hat off to those that are married with kids. I mean, I've interviewed pros, pro mixed martial artists and Muay Thai fighters that raise a family, and I'm like, how?
Yeah.
And especially boxers, they have to really get in there and perfect this craft of doing things backwards, and that's why it takes them a long time before they get their first fight. Have you ever had a match yet?
Yeah, I've been competing since maybe 3 months after I had first started. I started doing just like local tournaments. Have moved kind of more into the super fight realm of jiu-jitsu competing. I'm out of Grammy Jiu-Jitsu in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and we've been putting on a lot of events where jiu-jitsu athletes are able to get paid for actually competing instead of paying hundreds of bucks to go to tournaments and compete. So I've done several super fights through them, through my home gym, and other local super fights, just doing like one-on-one matches, getting on the card.
Good. I mean, I'm glad to hear that, because I mean, the fact that you probably didn't do well your first time, and that's okay. It's at least you kind of dug in there deep. I mean, you have to kind of dive in some eventually, because I remember after my first fight, I've been sparring, but I'd never been hit to the point that they're trying to hurt me and actually trying to finish me and stuff like that. I remember the first time I got hit, it was a whole different world.
Yeah. I commend the striking MMA sports. I did one combat jiu-jitsu match, and I was like, this is enough chance of getting hit for me.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that no matter how much you train in there, no matter how much, that you put yourself out there to try to, be ready to fight, there's nothing that prepares you when you're fighting somebody that you're maybe not quite familiar with, and they're either going to go harder than you or just as hard. So you have to be prepared for that. And you know that now.
Yeah. It's something too, you train with training partners and they are doing their best to make you better. But at the end of the day, especially like as a woman grappler, I train with a lot of men just because there are a lot more men in the grappling industry. And at the end of the day, I do train with men that I trust at the end, like ultimately not to injure me and hurt me. So it definitely is different when you go against a competitor who's not a trusted training member and team member, and you're going out differently. But
oh, that's fair. And you mentioned about being a woman, and that's one of the reasons why I was excited about this interview. Is I don't have that many women competitors that come on my show, because it's regardless of how long it's been mainstream, for the last 10 years at least, there's still this kind of thin base of women competitors and stuff like that. It's always an honor to interview and kind of pick y'all's brains about like what it's like. And so far, it doesn't seem terrible. I mean,
yeah, I definitely am. I'm hopeful, especially as like the women's wrestling across the nation kind of becomes a bigger and bigger thing. As these girls who are getting to now wrestle through high school and college more finish college and they're looking to continue their grappling. We've already seen like professional and high level wrestlers step into jiu-jitsu to kind of see that. So I'm excited for the potential of the women's side of it growing, especially through the women's side of wrestling growing. Because the main I feel like the main difference for us is just when you go to a competition, there might be 20 guys in one bracket, but you get there and you've got one girl, and you're going to do best 2 out of 3 matches. And so it is harder to find matches that are skill level close, weight range close. And yeah, it's slim picking sometimes to get good matches, but.
And I do feel bad for like the weight class situation. You know, you don't see a whole lot above like 145. You know,
yeah.
I don't know. 145 is kind of the lowest weight that they have as far as mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu, at least from what I've researched. And there's women out there that are, gosh, man, I mean, they're as big as bodybuilders, but they have to cut down to like, 145 just to be able to compete. It's insane.
That definitely, in like tournaments, like bigger jiu-jitsu tournaments, like IBJJF and bigger tournaments like that are able to attract more competitors. There does tend to be a better weight range, more weight range options, but it does get harder as you're kind of in either smaller venues, smaller tournaments, looking for local tournaments. That middle weight, that like 145, 150, 155, does tend to kind of be the biggest section. That's cool about some of the events that I've been doing recently. Garami, we've done tag team events where you just have a team weight. And then also this tournament that I'm doing this coming weekend with my 2 friends is also a team weight, which works out for us because Emily is on the smaller side of us. I'm right in the middle, and then Maria's just a tiny bit bigger than me. So the team weight's kind of cool because it balances it out.
So wait a second. So is there like so the weight has to be between the 3 of you under a certain amount of weight?
Yeah. Originally, it was going to be the 3 of us, but originally the agreed weight was less than 450 for 3 competitors. They did increase that to 475 to try to include a couple more teams.
I have never heard of that. I mean, maybe I've been missing out, but I've never heard of I've heard of teams and stuff like that, but I've never heard like a team combined weights.
Yeah. So this tournament is cool because it's open weight besides that restriction. So like a certain team member doesn't have to weigh a certain amount. And it's also open belt. So there's no restrictions on which level belt can compete or be part of these teams. So I'm going in as a blue belt. Emily Keck's a purple belt down at FEMA, and Maria's a black belt out of Connection BJJ. So we've got a good little stack going on.
I feel like that the team weigh-in thing that you were talking about would not work with guys, because I feel like they'd be razzing each other. Hey, man, you need to get your fat ass in gear. All right, look, it's like, look, damn it, I done lost my 10 pounds. Now you need to take your big ass and lose your 10 pounds so we can get under this thing, and then you can talk shit.
Yeah, I've never like looked into the details, but I know a couple guys who've done quintets where it's a group of 5 guys, and I'm pretty sure they do it by a total weight, because I know a few of them individually have been on the same teams. They're not the same size as each other, so kind of just balances it out. You get a couple smaller guys, a couple bigger guys, a couple right in the middle, and figure it out.
I feel like that would be a comedy skit. Oh my God. That's just, I've never heard of this before. And I'm just saying, it wouldn't, like, the women would be way more supportive of each other. It's like, look, you got this, honey. I got you. Look, just put that donut down for a few more days, and then you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Luckily it worked out for us. No problems, because we're already under our limit safely. So we didn't have to, no stress of that, but I can see where it could be a little more touchy if you're getting close to the limit.
Imagine if it was private, it'd be like, look, and then all of a sudden the wait was over. It's like, all right, which one of you motherfuckers didn't weigh in right? All right, who ate that donut? Hey, I saw your big ass at the ice cream truck the other day. No, it's, oh my goodness, I make myself laugh with that because I've never heard that before. But so, obviously you have a profession, I'm assuming that you're doing this. I mean, obviously, yeah, you can get paid to do it, but I'm assuming you don't want to do it for a living.
For the most part, it's very difficult to do for a living, and I do really love my career. Like, it's not something that I would just like lightly step away from either. So yeah.
Right. I mean, nursing in any form of nursing is supposed to be a calling, so that's good.
Yeah, it's a mix of a calling and just honestly a capability. I think it's a little eye opening once you start doing it, what the reality of nursing really is on the day to day. And so you might think you have the calling, but it definitely takes a certain level of just capability and just like commitment to it to be able to maintain doing it, especially for years and years.
Absolutely. No, I get it. And it's not for everybody. That's for sure. So I tip my hat off to you. And it gives you a good story though. I mean, I hear about all these fighters that, whenever I'm covering them and stuff like that, like I wasn't actually at the event, but I was covering the slap fight last night. And I interviewed the heavyweight champion, and they mentioned it several times on the show, but he's trying to be an attorney while he's competing in slap fight. So
yeah, it definitely it is sometimes hard to be able to train as much as you want to when you do have obviously the commitment of your current job and career, and also not getting hurt doing stuff and able to go back to work the next day. And that's always kind of a thought that lingers too, but.
Oh, absolutely. I can imagine. And I would not want to, it's hard enough, like, especially a physical hobby or something like that. That's when I retired from fighting. That's why I took up the guitar. So, but even then that takes just as much dedication. So what is the, if you're not going to do it as a profession, do you think you could go up for some like belts or something? I mean, is there a way to compete for belts and stuff like that?
Yeah. So belting works mostly by like whatever black belt's the highest level belt that people traditionally get to. There are higher level belts that are kind of legend, but typically the black belt that you train under, they kind of watch you, teach you obviously, and then they will promote you to the next belt as they see ready, based off of different things. Kind of depends on like what your goals are. Some people do just do it as a hobby and don't compete, and they can still promote through the belts as well. But those of us that do compete, kind of looking at like competition, how you're doing, how your technique, how your game's developed, and then obviously also paying attention to outcomes of matches and that kind of thing. Make sure they're not going to set you up for failure by putting you into a higher belt, harder brackets, but kind of watch that growth. And they've been doing it obviously a lot longer than us, so they typically have pretty good insight into that, and that's why that's their thing.
It's very interesting how jiu-jitsu black belts issue out black belts to other new students. It's I remember when Frank Mir got his belt, it was at UFC 48 against Tim Sylvia where he broke his forearm, and then there was nothing ceremonious about it. He just he was laying on his mat and taking his gear off, and then his teacher threw his belt at him and said, "Hey, you're a black belt now."
Yeah, some black belts do really like to make it meaningful or sentimental. A lot of times, like there's some professors do like podium promotions where their student will win a big tournament, maybe on the first place podium spot, and they'll go up there and take their belts off and give them a new one. It just kind of depends on the black belt and I guess their relationship, knowing the competitor too, how much they feel like they would care about it. But
right, the legendary Randy Couture, when he same situation in the ring after he got through choking in an arm triangle choke, he choked James Toney, and then in the ring they give him his belt like right there, and Randy didn't even know he was getting his belt, so he just like. So very interesting stuff.
Yeah. there is a lot of I say more often than not, people are kind of caught off guard by their promotions because there's not necessarily boxes that you check or steps that you have to take or certain things that are definitive of when you're quote unquote ready. And so I do think a lot of times you do get that like surprise aspect of like, oh, you really think I'm ready for this? And then kind of
right.
just coming into it as your instructor really sees that potential or growth in you.
Right. It's not like in the Scouts where you have to earn your nature badge or your cooking badge.
Yeah.
And then you check that off your list and then you become a Eagle Scout. So
yeah.
Which is understandable. I mean, it's combat sports. Sometimes it's a very proud moment, but at the same time, I mean, I think because jiu-jitsu is so practical, maybe that's one of the reasons why some of these guys don't see it quite as ceremonious as it. Because jiu-jitsu has been in fighting for decades in the United States now, but meanwhile, it was always a practical form of more self-defense type thing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it just is about your journey in jiu-jitsu and in grappling, because there is that subjective element to the promotions. Mm-hmm. You can't necessarily say like, oh, this person's worse than this person because that person has a higher belt. Like, it's kind of more about the process. I was seeing something yesterday where it's like you could have a 16-year-old who's trained for 12 years and he just got his blue belt, and he has all these wins underneath of his belt, and he's done all this. He's trained for 12 years, but you also could have like a middle-aged dad who's trained for 2 years and funds himself and has a job and has stress, and they're both now blue belts. So it's so subjective and about like the journey and kind of where you're at, how your process kind of comes into it. So it's definitely like, I don't know. I think to the individual after the fact, it is sentimental. Like, people tend to definitely like care about when they got their promotion, because that's kind of a check of self like recognition. But it also depends on if you're in like a more traditional school or less traditional, how ceremonious the actual handing over or changing of this belt is. But
one of my audience members has a question.
Yeah.
What would be your expectation to win to actually achieve the black belts?
Like years type thing?
He didn't specify. It was in the comment section.
Realistically for me, part of my jiu-jitsu journey, I anticipate, will be that before I'm a black belt, hopefully I will be married and have kids. So that would factor into my journey more so than it might a guy or somebody who's not looking for those things in life. Because I do know I've been able to really commit a lot of time to training over the last year and a half without having other commitments. So I do know that at a certain point things will slow down. My progression will slow down a little bit just based off my ability to commit to it. Okay. I would say typically like a standard person who's like full send into it, probably around 8 years in total minimum. But so I'm 2 years in now. I have had my blue belt for a little while. Hopefully we'll get my purple belt here in not too long. But then there's still brown belt and black belt, and typically your higher level belts, you do take longer to progress through. So I would say a goal for me would probably be another 8 to 10 years from this point that I'm at.
No, that's cool. That's great. And that's not going to stop you from competing, obviously. That's the thing. But it doesn't, like you said, open. There are so many open grappling challenges. I mean, I see that UFC thing on, the Thursday night. Do you ever watch that on Thursday nights? The UFC.
Yeah, I do sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think most of them cats are. I don't think most of them are black belts or even above purple belt. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
purple's.
Yeah.
So I get it. My audience has a lot of questions. One of the guys says, "I'm surprised you're not married. If you're looking, dude, don't be asking questions like that."
It's anyway, all right. It's all right.
That's right. I got a pretty good audience, but boys will be boys. Anyway, so let's see. Let me see if I can slide down and get another. Let's see if I can get another actually intelligent question like the first one. That was a really nice one. I like that one. Let's see. No. Okay, I kind of like this one. Do you have a what is your eating regimen the day of the fight?
I even through like being young for like piano recitals or soccer games as a young kid, I do tend to be a pretty nervy person. My adrenaline just like courses crazy. I definitely focus more on like my meal the night before. So like I compete on Saturday, Friday night, I'll make sure that I have a good meal because I know in myself, I probably won't eat a whole lot the day of. It also depends on the times of the events. So a lot of tournaments are starting as early as like 9 or 10 for adults. And so before that, I'm really only eating maybe like a Rice Krispie treat and some little snacks from the gas station. But the night before, I tend to try to make sure I get myself covered a little bit.
Yeah. Meal, I pretty much mastered what I was going to eat. The hardest part for me was like when I'm going to put my gear on before, because if I have to go to the bathroom before, when I get nervous, I have to go to the bathroom. That was always my biggest concern is like, all right, if I put my gear on 2 hours before, I might have to go to the bathroom a couple, like 30 minutes before. And then I don't want to have to get my hands rewrapped and all that good jazz. So
yeah. Luckily with jiu-jitsu, I don't have to worry so much about that part of it because I just rash guard, spats, shorts, and we're going. So
yeah, absolutely.
Makes it easier.
Do you compete in gi or no gi?
I do both.
Okay.
Most of my like super fight matches have been no gi, but like when I do tournaments, I do compete in the gi as well.
Right, and those sweatsuits and gi or the spandex that they compete in and stuff like that. I've trained in it. I haven't done any competitive anything in almost 10 years now. But I remember when when those were starting to become a little bit more accessible and stuff like that. I said, man, why didn't they have this? When I could, no gi for me was a shirt, was a t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
That was what it was back when I competed. So,
yeah, the rash guards now definitely make you feel cooler, make you look cooler, and then also just help with the move and not getting stuck up on everything, not getting fingers and toes stuck in clothes so much. But
yes, oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many times I've had like I didn't tap out to it, but I can't tell you how many I was yelling out because my pinky toe got caught in somebody's shirt.
Watch my toe.
Exactly. It's like, hold on one second. My toe. What are you talking about? My toe. God damn it. It's caught in your shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. I'm not. Guys, y'all quit. Guys, you thirsty heathens, quit asking this girl. Anyway, I got a good. Let me see if I can find another good one. I have some mature audience members. I promise you I do. But these, these are male testosterone driven fight fans. Guys, y'all better be this competitive y'all better be this interactive when I do my stream here for UFC 318 in an hour. Okay. I do a stream, I stream. One of the things that in Millions is that we get to stream the fights and competitions and stuff like that. Like I did a power slap last night and tonight I'm doing UFC and they'll all come in. They can come on camera and stuff like that. It's they're a riot. They really are. I've had to kick out like 3 of them 5 times in a row. So, but let's see. Let me see if I can find a good one here, and then I'll let you go because I'm trying to think if we got a good mature question, fellas. Come on. Oh, I got okay. Well, here's one from a lady. She wants to know is she wants to know how difficult is it to keep your weight down while competing in this, while working a profession that no doubtedly wants you on your feet most of the time?
Yeah. Luckily for me, I do sit like kind of right in that middle weight class. So I ultimately I try not to like end up having to cut a lot of weight. I think my saving grace is that I do train very often. And so that gives me a little slack, and also still being 24, that also cuts me a little grace. But if I do have a match that they ask me to be a little bit lighter for, I try to behave and be good and slowly get back down towards that area. But I've also started just accepting matches closer to my walking weight when I am able to. Makes it a little easier, less stressful.
Fair. Okay, so I'm about to let you go, but I want you to promote your fight. Tell me where guys like me and my audience and everybody at Millions can watch it. Is it going to be streamed on Millions, or?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm kind of assuming, but I'm not entirely sure.
We'll go. I'll look up the information. I mean, I'm gonna do my part to promote it anyway, and I know Millions will as well if that's the case. But absolutely, we got you. So yeah. All right. So the floor is yours. Tell me what's going on, or tell me about the fight and when it is and where it is and all that good jazz.
So this coming weekend, we'll be going up to Alexandria, Virginia, doing a National Grappling Association match. They're on Instagram at BJJ_NGA, promoting all their stuff and their fight with locations. I know it is streamed. We'll be going up there, me and two teammates. We're doing a trios event. So it'll be me, Maria Rios, a black belt out of Connection BJJ in Apex, North Carolina, and then Emily Keck, who's a purple belt out of FEMA, Fitness Edge MMA in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The three of us will be teaming up to go up there for a trios event. It is in a pit, which I enjoy, keeping things locked in a little bit. You can't run away. I have a lot of experience with that, so I'll enjoy that aspect of it. And me and my teammates, we've trained together. We've actually competed against each other, and we're excited to go up there and hopefully bring home some money.
My next bucket list is to be able to watch some sort of competition in that pit that's been done now. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Down in Garami Grappling, where my home gym, we have a small pit. It's the first one I've seen that way. It's got probably only like a maybe 8x8 mat in the center, and then functional angled walls that you don't just slide straight down. So that keeps like so much action close in the middle. There's no way to just kind of walk off the mat. You get pushed out if you get too close to the edge. So it's definitely a new era of no-gi grappling for sure.
I love it. And that's why I love the combat sports. They seem to try to evolve every time. Mm-hmm. Well, Katelyn, thank you for joining me. And if you ever want to do this again, you've got my, you've seen the process of how to get on the show and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And if you want to do another one with somebody else, I understand that, but I'm here. I'm friends with you. I requested you on Instagram. So keep me in touch. Let me know how it went.
Yeah,
if I don't see it myself.
After we win this weekend, I'll get back in touch. We can talk about it again.
Sounds like a plan. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hank Russell. You've been watching the Hank Russell Invitation. I just got to say, you could have been anywhere else, but you joined me tonight, and I thank you for joining me. If you're around in the next 21 minutes, I will be doing UFC 318, here at the live party. So y'all come on in, join, bring your manners. If you're going to drink libations, please keep it within good taste, and y'all have a pleasant evening.